The beauty of being a car buyer today is that there are so many different types of car to buy. But you could easily be forgiven, finding that sheer choice a little bewildering. So if you don't know your MPV from your SUV or your coupe from your convertible, then let us help. In this film, we'll take you through the 7 most important body styles on offer and explain just which sort of buyer each is most suitable for. We'll start with the UK's most popular body style, the humble hatchback. Now these come in all sizes, including everything from the Renault Twingo to the Ford Focus and beyond. But the crucial aspect that they all share is that the whole rear end opens up to allow access to the boot. With that degree of practicality, it's no surprise that cars like this are ideal for families, and especially when you get to models as big as the Vauxhall Insignia and Ford Mondeo. Because the whole rear end opens, it couldn't be easier to load things in and out of the boot, and it also allows you to make the most of what space is on offer really easily. It's further helped by the fact that almost without exception, every hatchback also has rear seats that fold down, so you can load even bigger items if you need to. This is in direct contrast to the other popular choice in Mondeo-sized cars and above, the saloon. This is a car in which the boot is totally separate from the passenger compartment. In the UK at least, this body style tends to be associated with more prestigious cars. Most executive cars are saloons, for example, and this BMW 3 Series, the Jaguar XF and the Mercedes S-Class are perfect examples. Trouble is, what you gain in prestige over a hatchback, you lose in practicality. Not only is that boot opening smaller, it's much harder to reach into the very depths of the boot. And even if the rear seats do fold down, which they don't on a lot of saloons, you'll have a much smaller gap to squeeze things through, and you won't have as much height to play with as you would in a hatchback. One way to get around that problem is to buy an estate. It'll almost certainly be based on a saloon or a hatchback, and basically it gives you a bigger, boxier rear end that gives you a squarer, larger load area. As you can well imagine, that, combined with the flexibility of folding rear seats, makes this body style particularly suitable for use as a family car. Essentially, estates are hatchbacks, and like them, they come in all sizes, covering everything from models as small as the Skoda Fabia right up to relative behemoths like the Volvo V90 and Mercedes E-Class. The attraction of an estate car is pretty easy to sum up. Space. But in particular, it's getting the extra space over the equivalent saloon or hatchback without any great penalty. It'll be much the same size, so it's just as easy to manoeuvre, and you won't have to pay much more to run it. If space and versatility are your absolute priorities, then an MPV, or multi-purpose vehicle, may be the answer to your prayers. Back in the day, these used to be called people carriers, but nowadays they do much, much more than that. What makes them MPVs is the wide range of possible layouts inside, and while the precise details vary from car to car, what you can expect are seats that slide, tumble, fold, and may even disappear into the floor. Generally speaking, MPVs also have a slightly higher driving position, and that can make the driver feel much more confident on the road. However, there are a few myths to bust. And first of all, not all MPVs are 7-seaters. Instead, just think of an MPV as a car that makes the most of what space it has on offer. And you can apply that principle to a 5-seater just as much as you can to a 7-seater. Secondly, in fact, these aren't big cars. The Citroën C3 Picasso, for example, is a genuine MPV, but it's not much bigger than the regular C3. Even the very biggest MPVs, like this Ford Galaxy, are actually no longer than a Mondeo estate. Finally, not all MPVs look like little more than boxes on wheels. In fact, some are genuinely sleek and stylish. That said, if you really can't cope with the look of an MPV, the good news is that many of their seat folding tricks are available in other classes of car. And one of the best places to look for that is in a sports utility vehicle, an SUV. Many people may call these 4x4s or off-roaders, and while that's understandable, in fact, not all of these things have four-wheel drive, and many aren't designed to go off-road at all. Like several other body styles, SUVs come in all sizes, ranging from relative tiddlers like the Vauxhall Mocha up to this Mazda CX-5 and onto giants like the Range Rover. But what they all have in common is they sit that little bit higher off the ground and generally have a more chunky appearance to their body. For many people, that rugged style alone will be enough to attract them. But the extra height isn't just about looking good. It can actually help people getting in and out of the car because they don't have to drop down so low to get into their seats. What's more, SUVs generally have as much space inside as a similarly sized hatchback or estate, and as we said, some can even rival an MPV for their versatility. Plus, they have the added attraction of that slightly higher driving position. All of which means a smaller SUV is the perfect thing for running around town in, and larger SUVs are absolutely attractive as family cars, especially when you can add the extra versatility of four-wheel drive on some models. The sheer size of an SUV could be off-putting, and some of the big ones are very big. But that extra height can be deceptive. In fact, most SUVs take up no more road than a regular hatchback or estate, so they're just as easy to manoeuvre. On the other hand, the extra bulk of an SUV can mean worse fuel economy, especially if it comes with four-wheel drive. But if you shop around, you can find some really economical models, including hybrids, which will be particularly attractive to drivers who spend a lot of time in town. Last but not least, don't forget, if all you want is four-wheel drive, you don't have to buy an SUV. Actually, all-wheel drive is available in almost every body style. Next, we come to two body styles that will appeal to buyers who probably don't have to worry too much about practicality. First, coupes are characterised by their sleeker profile, especially at the rear. And this Audi TT is a perfect example. Generally, coupes are sportier cars that sit a little bit lower to the ground and will appeal to buyers who are willing to sacrifice a little space and practicality in favour of extra style and a sporty drive. Some are based on other models. The BMW 4 Series, for example, is effectively just the coupe version of the 3 Series saloon, but others, like this Audi TT, are standalone models. However, not all coupes are two-door models. BMW, for example, will happily sell you a 4 Series Grand Coupe, which has 4 doors squeezed into its sleek body. What's more, makers are increasingly applying this coupe philosophy to other body styles. So you can buy coupe-like saloons like the Mercedes CLS and Volkswagen CC, and there are even coupe versions of SUVs like BMW's X4 and X6. Finally, we come to the convertible, which is perhaps the easiest body style to define. Quite simply, these are cars in which you can raise and lower the roof. Again, this class of car covers a wide range of sizes, and it includes both soft and hard tops. Some, like the Mazda MX-5 and this Mercedes SLK, are designed as pure sports cars, but others are based on existing models and just give you the chance to soak up the sun on those all too rare occasions when it actually puts in an appearance here in Britain. Clearly, these are cars that favour fun over function, and overall, convertibles are perhaps the least practical of all the body styles on sale in Britain. But you can buy both 2-seat and 4-seat convertibles, and some even have quite reasonable boots, so a convertible doesn't have to be hopelessly impractical. The good news is that no matter what you want from a car, there'll be something out there that fits the bill. And if you want an even better idea of just what will work for you, then use Auto Trader's search function to help narrow down your shortlist.